This is the ACLU lawyer who reports direct to the head of the ACLU, scumbag or corporation that wants to shut down free speech. Anyway, awful. But this guy is confirming that Amber Heard has only paid like 300 grand to the ACLU of the $3.5 million that she had pledged initially. Elon Musk has paid $500,000, and actually Johnny Depp paid 100 grand as well. To which they then went and asked Amber Heard, should this amount be credited to your total? And she said, yes. They didn't ask Johnny Depp. Awful. This is blowing my mind. There's even more, which I'm going to bring you in a moment. But again, enjoy this highlight video and share it far and wide.
Hey, Mr. Doherty, would you please state your full name for the record?
Terrence Doherty.
Did there come a time you left Patterson-Belknap to work for the ACLU Foundation?
Correct.
In what capacity did you start at the ACLU Foundation in 2005?
I was the ACLU's first in-house lawyer. My title was Senior Corporate Counsel.
What were your responsibilities generally when you began as Senior Corporate Counsel at the ACLU Foundation?
My role was to serve as the organization's in-house lawyer and to assess what the needs were for an in-house counsel department or practice at the ACLU.
Sitting here today, do you know how much money Ms. Heard has actually donated to the ACLU, actually remitted to the ACLU?
Yes, I do.
How much is that?
So when you say remitted, do you mean direct payments from her personally, or do you mean payments on her behalf, or payments, from a donor advised fund that she might have set up, or are you?
We can break it down. Let's first from how much has Ms. Heard paid directly to the ACLU?
That would be $350,000 paid directly.
How much has been paid indirectly and credited to Ms. Heard?
There was $100,000, which was a check from Johnny Depp. There was a $500,000 payment from a donor advised fund at Vanguard. And then there was a $350,000 payment that appears to be from a donor advised fund at Fidelity, making it total $1.2 million.
And when you speak of credited toward Amber Heard, to what are you referring?
And I think I might have done the math wrong. Let me just do the math in my head. It's 700, 800 plus the 5. I think 1.3 is the amount. We received a check from for the $100,000 payment. We received a check from Johnny Depp's representatives, and it was said to be a payment in connection with on behalf of Amber Heard. She confirmed that. The $500,000 payment from Vanguard Charitable, she confirmed was a payment on her behalf, and the $350,000 payment as well.
When you say credited toward her, what does that mean?
Well, she had, when we initially had contact with Amber Heard in 2016, she indicated her desire to pay $3.5 million to the ACLU, and that was, and these were amounts that were in relation to that, her having expressed that that's what she wanted to pay to the ACLU.
So it's fair to say that she has not donated $3.5 million as of today to the ACLU, true?
True.
When you say that Mr. Depp, our client, donated $100,000 to be credited toward Amber Heard, Did the ACLU, in fact, credit that $100,000 toward the $3.5 million Ms. Heard promised to donate to the ACLU?
We do credit it.
Did Ms. Heard direct you to credit it to her account, as it were?
We asked Ms. Heard if we should credit it, and she said that we should.
With what person or entity is Vanguard Charitable associated?
So Vanguard Charitable is a nonprofit that Vanguard, the financial institution, has set up that provides for a wide variety of donor-advised funds for individuals to use for their charitable giving. So there are thousands of Vanguard charitable donor-advised funds. If you are asking specifically about the one that we received the $500,000 contribution from, we believe that that is a donor-advised fund that was set up by Elon Musk.
Who is Elon Musk?
He's a tech entrepreneur.
And isn't he also a donor to the ACLU Foundation in his own right?
Yes.
But it's your testimony that as to the $500,000 that came from Vanguard Charitable, that was associated with Elon Musk, correct?
We believe so, but it is not conclusive.
Did the ACLU have any communications with Elon Musk about the $500,000 contribution?
Yes.
And please describe those communications.
There is a document that we produced that Elon Musk emails Anthony Romero regarding the $500,000 contribution.
What did Ms. Heard tell Mr. Romero or the ACLU about her donation and how much she was going to contribute? There
were communications back and forth between the ACLU and Ms. Heard, including a thank you acknowledgement letter that was sent under Mr. Romero's name to Ms. Heard, thanking her for the $350,000 contribution, noting that it was part of her intention to make a $3.5 million contribution to the ACLU, and Mr. Romero attached to that communication a standard ACLU pledge form and so that was the communication. We were aware very early on that her intention to contribute the $3.5 million to us was half of her $7 million divorce proceedings. I don't recall which specific communication with us gave us that knowledge.
What, if any, understanding did the ACLU have prior to the publication of the op-ed about Ms. Heard's plans to dispose of the other half of the $7 million settlement, or the other $3.5 million?
Yes, we understood that the other $3.5 million, the other half, was going to a children's hospital in Los Angeles.
When did the first donation, the $350,000 from Ms. Heard, actually arrive at the ACLU?
It was very soon after the communication between Elon Musk and Anthony, and I believe that it was that communication was in August of 2016, and it was shortly thereafter.
At the time the ACLU sent Ms. Heard the acknowledgement letter, was it the ACLU's expectation that the $3.5 million would be paid by Ms. Heard all at once in a lump sum?
No, I do not believe it was. I believe that we believed that it would, based on the Elon Musk email, we thought that it might be, that it was intended to be over a 10-year period, although that was never specifically confirmed.
Well, that's interesting. What email are you referring to?
I believe that the first email from Elon Musk to Anthony Romero said that it was over a 10-year period.
Anything else to make the ACLU believe that Ms. Heard was not paying the money right away out of her divorce settlement with Mr. Depp?
Anthony, in his communications with Ms. Heard, referred to the amount as a pledge, and a pledge is generally what a pledge means is that the amount is not necessarily paid all at once. It's pledged to the organization rather than just sending a check. There's some kind of varying levels of commitment made to give amounts over a period of time, which is, excuse me, useful for the charity to know so that it can make future projections as to income.
So he states to Ms. Heard, thank you for your wonderful gift of $350,000 to the ACLU, the first installment of your very generous pledge of $3.5 million. You see that?
Yes.
So as of September 9th, 2016, Ms. Heard had actually donated only $350,000, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And directing your attention to the next page that was attached to Mr. Romero's letter, it also says pledge form, but it has some columns.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that this is a proposed schedule for payment of the remaining $3.5 million donation?
That is what it is.
Do you see at the bottom of that page, ACLU 3034, part of Exhibit 11, that there is a signature line?
Correct. Yes, I do.
Did Ms. Heard ever sign this pledge schedule?
No.
Did anyone at Greenberg Glusker or anyone else on behalf of Ms. Heard ever sign this form?
No.
Why not?
I don't know the answer.
Did Ms. Heard ever agree to any schedule for the payment of her $3.5 million donation?
There are documents that we produced that point to Ms. Heard being aware of this as a multi-year commitment, including the Elon Musk email to Anthony and back and forth between Anthony and Amber on an annual basis about her, about this gift.
My question was actually a simple one. Did Ms. Heard ever agree to any schedule for the payment of the remainder of the $3.5 million donation?
I don't recall her having seeing anything where she agreed to a 10-year schedule like this. And
you see where he informs Mr. Romero the actual check is for Mr. Depp, care of his CPA, and handwritten on the check it says donation being made in the name of Amber Heard. So I think you've testified that the ACLU in fact received a $100,000 check from Johnny Depp, correct?
Correct.
And do you know why Mr. Depp asked that it be credited to the name of Amber Heard?
No, I don't.
Let's move back to the first page. And do you see the email from Mark Weiler to Hector Villagra, copied to Mimi Clara, on or about August 25th at 11:12 a.m.?
Yes.
So he says, just spoke with Anthony, who got off, strike that, just spoke with Anthony, who just got off the phone with Elon Musk. And Anthony refers to Anthony Romero, correct?
Correct.
Why was Mr. Romero discussing the Heard donation with Elon Musk?
My understanding is that Anthony reached out to Elon Musk because he had a prior relationship with Elon Musk, and Elon Musk was the person who first contacted Anthony about the donation, about a donation from Amber.
And wasn't Mr. Romero specifically asking him about Mr. Depp's donation of $100,000?
That's how I read this email, yes.
And if you look down, just below that, the email from Mr. Villagra to Mark Weir, and he says, got it, we will hold the check. That's a reference to the ACLU's holding the check from Johnny Depp, correct?
That's how I read this.
Okay, so now moving back up to that email from Mr. Weiler to Mr. Villagra, copied to Mimi Clara, he says, we're going to draft an email from Anthony to Amber explaining the situation and asking for her advice. What does he mean there?
I take that to mean that we wanted to hear from Amber regarding whether this gift was attributable to the amounts that she wanted to contribute to the ACLU.
Did the ACLU, in fact, reach out to Ms. Heard about Mr. Depp's $100,000 donation?
Yes, there are documents that we produced that show a back and forth on that point between Anthony and Ms. Heard.
And Mr. Weiler, or Mr. Weir, writes, I'll keep you in the loop, but definitely hold the check until we get clearance from Amber. Why would the ACLU need clearance from Amber Heard before it accepted a $100,000 donation from Johnny Depp?
My understanding of this is that we wanted to know whether this, before we cashed this check, whether it was in relation to the Amber Heard desire to contribute to the ACLU as opposed to a separate desire by Johnny Depp to contribute to us individually. And in fact, the communication from Johnny Depp's representative said that it was in connection with Amber Heard, so we wanted to clarify what was going on.
So moving to the email directly above that from Hector Villagra to Mark Weir, he says, we have more folks than I knew who followed TMZ. Here's their latest report. Amber Heard calls BS on Johnny's charity donation. Now you owe double. What's that a reference to?
I don't really know specifically, other than to say that this is more indication that we were unclear of whether the Johnny Depp gift would count toward the amounts that Amber said she wanted to contribute to the ACLU. This is Amber confirming that we can cash Mr. Depp's check.
And it's true that the ACLU ultimately deposited Mr. Depp's check for $100,000, correct?
Correct.
Did the ACLU credit the $100,000 paid by Mr. Depp toward Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledge or donation?
We do credit that $100,000 amount toward the toward Amber Heard's charitable giving to the ACLU.
Where, if at all, is that credit reflected in the ACLU's records?
There are documents that we produced that show the fact that this was considered part of Amber Heard's charitable giving to the ACLU. This is Amber letting Steve know that she's no longer working with Pierce, but instead working with a new lawyer, and indicating to Steve that she is going to be talking with her PR team about whether, about issuing a press statement about her 2017, issuing a press statement about her 2017 gift.
And directing your attention, she writes, their concern is that the press could potentially spin the fact that this is an installment and not the entire lump sum, as you well know, isn't possible due to the structure of the settlement agreement. The settlement agreement is a reference to the settlement agreement between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard of their divorce, correct?
I read that to, with reference to the settlement agreement, to be the settlement agreement between Heard and Depp, but I don't have any independent knowledge of that.
What was the basis of your belief that she was going to pay you every year?
The original communications and her response to us when we reached out to her, and she indicated, on a number of occasions that this was something that she was going to be looking into.
But she didn't do it, did she?
What we did receive was the $500,000 Vanguard charitable contribution, and then the next year, the $350,000 contribution.
She didn't pay you on an annual basis, did she?
Yes, we didn't receive any amounts in 2019 and on.
After the Vanguard payment of $500,000 in July 2017, what, if any, payments did Ms. Heard make to the ACLU?
There was one more payment of $350,000 that came from Fidelity Charitable. So it looked to be from a donor-advised fund at Fidelity.
And when was that donor-advised Fidelity payment made?
In 2018.
But the money did not come from her, correct?
The money went from her to her donor-advised fund, and then she recommended that the funds be paid from Fidelity to us. So the amount that $350 we received did not come from her directly. It came from what we believe to be her donor-advised fund at Fidelity that she set up.
What basis, other than Ms. Heard's telling you, does the ACLU have for the proposition that Ms. Heard paid the money to Fidelity before it came and was given to the ACLU?
What we have is what she told us, which is how donor-advised funds that are anonymous work. The only thing that we legally needed to know was that this came from the Fidelity Charitable, and that's the kind of reporting that we would do on this. For example, if we were reporting on this gift in our tax filings or anything like that, we then, our donors who have donor-advised funds, they then let us know that they made that recommendation, and we then credit it to them as being associated with their giving to us in our CRM.
Well, Mr. Doherty, I didn't ask you what the ACLU was legally required to do. I asked you what, if anything, the ACLU did to investigate whether, in fact, Ms. Heard provided the funds to Fidelity. And your answer is nothing, right?
Go ahead. I don't believe there was anything else. I don't know what else we would have gotten.
So, just so the record is clear, the ACLU relied only on Ms. Heard, that she was the ultimate source of the Fidelity funds, correct?
Yes.
Because you've already testified that Ms. Heard was not the original source of the funds for the $500,000 Vanguard contribution, correct?
We received that $500,000 from Vanguard. They're a 501c3, not from any other person.
Right, but Vanguard was associated with Mr. Musk, true?
We believe that to be the case, yes.
Okay. So after this December 2018 donation, has Ms. Heard made any donations directly or indirectly to the ACLU?
No, those are the four contributions, the four that we've discussed.
Well, we're almost 3 years since her last contribution. What, if any, efforts has the ACLU made to get Amber Heard to pay?
We reached out to Ms. Heard. We reached out to Ms. Heard starting in 2019 for the next installment of her giving, and we learned that she was having financial difficulties.
Well, let's unpack that. So when in 2019 did the ACLU reach out to Ms. Heard about making her promised contributions?
I don't recall the date, but there is a document that we produced that was an email from Anthony to Amber about this in 2019.
ACLU 4680. Have you ever seen this document before?
I have.
What is it?
This is the original email from Elon to Amber and Anthony describing her plan to donate to the ACLU over the next 10 years and her support for our work, and that she wasn't restricting the gift. She just had a preference about the use of the funds, and that Anthony would forward her the wiring instructions, and then he did so, and then the $350,000 was wired, as we saw in that last JP Morgan Chase ACLU bank account wire record. And so Anthony let Amber know that we received it.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. So the email in the middle of the page was an email sent to Mr. Romero from Elon Musk on or about August 18th, 2016 at 1:14 p.m., correct?
Correct.
And he says, Amber, I described your plan to donate $3.5 million to the ACLU over the next 10 years, as you very much believe in what they are doing. You see that?
Yes.
Why was Ms. Heard, or strike that, why was Mr. Musk representing this on behalf of Ms. Heard?
I don't know the answer to that question, but assume it's because of Elon's prior relationship with Anthony and that he indicated, I will make that introduction for you.
He is representing that Ms. Heard's plan was to donate $3.5 million over the next 10 years. Is that correct?
Correct, that was her plan.
So the ACLU sitting here today attributes $1.3 million toward Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledge, correct?
Correct.
And of that $1.3 million, $100,000 was paid by Johnny Depp, true?
Correct.